All right, so let's take a look at this first one here, the proof statement. A little bit different than what we're used to. But do you remember on the second day of this unit, I showed you there's a couple different ways to write a ratio? And this was one of them. If you do not like the way this looks, rewrite it. This is the same as FC over DB equals AC over PB. If you don't like the way that looks, you could certainly rewrite it like this. So that's what you're going to show me right now, that those sides are in the same ratio. But they're not in the same ratio unless you know what about the triangles. Okay, they're similar. I get that. But I look at the diagram and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of triangles. Which two do I pick to prove similar? Any two I want? No. What up here could help us determine the triangles to prove similar? What up here will help us say, hey, it's got to be these two triangles? Anything up here that'll help us? Let's go, Andrew. The sides in the proof statement. Watch, ready? FC. Everyone locate segment FC. Can you find one and only one triangle where FC is a full side? Everyone see that triangle? Well, that's going to be one of the triangles involved, and that's going to be FCA. That's the only triangle that contains FC as a full side. Can you guys find a triangle that contains DB as a full side? Only one triangle that contains DB. Mike? That's it. This is the only triangle right here where DB is a full side. We got our two triangles now. And yesterday, what method predominantly are we going to use in a statement's reasons to prove triangles similar? Angle, angle. Let's do it. I'm going to ask somebody to find me one pair of angles in those two triangles based on the givens. Find me a pair of angles. Let's do it. Let's roll with 18 again, Bella. You got the triangles isosceles. Maybe you can do something with that. And you got AFs and altitude. And you got a pair of perpendicular lines.
I know that ACB and ABC are congruent.
They are. Don't say why, because one of your classmates is going to tell me why. So angle ABC is congruent to angle ACB. How does Bella know that is true? Let's roll with 3. Oh, convenient. Let's roll with 13 then. Done. One pair of angles down. Where is the other pair lurking? Any shot? Any idea? 11? Need the other. We have the isosceles triangle angles, Casey. We need the other pair. Where are they?
AFC and PDB.
Yes, they are. But for two different reasons. So we're going to put them in two different steps. So let me start with angle PDB, everybody. Why is PDB a right angle? PDB. What do we got? 15. Any idea why that one's a right angle? Thank you. And the other one, AFC. Different reason why that one's a right angle. Why is AFC going to be a right angle? Let's roll. 19. Definition of an altitude. Thank you, Ryan. All right. Got 2. Yep.
Can we say altitudes form right angles?
Fine. That's perfect. Still, I always worry. You say they're right angles, but you still have to tell me they're congruent. Yes, you need a pair of congruent angles. So PDB is congruent to AFC. You guys got it? By angle, angle. And now, by angle, angle. Act like you've been there. Right angles are congruent. Now the triangles are similar, and you have to come up with your own statement now. Sorry. Make sure they match up for me, though. Triangle. What do you got for me? What are you going to match up? 17. Well, yep.
I wrote that triangle PDB is similar to triangle AFC.
Okay. Looks good. Because of angle. And again, all serious now because Friday points are going to get taken off. Did you write a similar? Did you write the tilde, or did you put the congruent symbol? And now, all right, extra step now. New step. Now that the triangles are similar, the corresponding sides are in proportion. If you want to use the abbreviation, just like I talked CPCTC, make sure it's in the correct order. CSSTP. Corresponding sides and similar triangles are proportional. All right? CSSTP. Other questions? Going. Perfect. One more. I'm not going to do a ton of these. I know you guys can pick them up pretty quickly. I want to hit the algebra big time, though. All right. I don't know why I gave a part A and B. I should have just went to write part B and had you guys find them. Okay. It's a parallelogram. Everyone see the two triangles? Proving them similar, so find a pair of angles for me. One pair of angles in those two triangles. I have a feeling I know what's coming. 17 again.
I'm supposed to find a pair of angles.
That are congruent in those two triangles. So just get it over with, Michelle. Just get it over with.
Angle C is congruent to angle B because parallel.
Whoa. Okay. First, I've just thrown off because I didn't think you were going to go that way. Thought you were going to take the easy way, but you didn't. I should have thought more highly of you. C, but I don't like B when you say B because then I'm like,
Angle CBF are congruent because parallel lines imply that alternate.
That is true, but I have a problem. I don't have parallel lines yet. How do you know those lines are parallel? Okay, so I got to put that first then. Okay, I need to put the parallel lines first. So DC is parallel to AB. That's got to go in there first before I mention the alternate interior angles. Grace?
So, in some first half they have like the line ABF. You don't need that to extend it, right?
So basically you're calling me out for not putting that it's a straight line. Yes, everyone, I believe that's what she's doing to me. You're right. You are right.
Wait,
you are right.
Okay.
I should have given you in the givens that ABF was a straight line.
If it doesn't say that, can we still use it?
Yes, that's fine. In this case, you don't really need to do the extensions. That's fine because it's part of AB right here, that it's parallel. So if you wanted to say that in the next step, say that DC is parallel to AF extensions, that's fine too. All right, but I'm not going to require it in this one. Parallelogram implies opposite sides are parallel. Now we can go back to what Michelle just said, which was C is congruent to angle EBF. And why again, Michelle? Parallel lines. You got it. Perfect. One pair. Michelle did the tough work for you. You can thank her later. The other pair, 6.
The vertical angles.
And everyone also, you could do the other pair of alternate interior if you wanted to. Okay. Yes, Alyssa.
So yesterday, you said that, you didn't say it, but we didn't write that they were parallel first. For the first three.
That's because I gave you they were parallel. All good? All right. Don't try to challenge the master. There's a reason why I'm holding this. All right, there's a reason. Let's go. Don't challenge. You're better than that. Angle DEC. Congruent to BEF. Vertical angles are congruent. Now we got similar triangles. And then part B, and just take a look, because hey, don't just assume CSSTP here. I would take a look and say, hey, make sure those sides do match up, because it wouldn't be a typo, but maybe they're looking for something else. All right, so let's see. CE does match up with BE. Hey, and I had a couple kids go nuts first period. That's not how you write the proportion. That's not how you write it. Because we're used to what? Side over the corresponding side. That's how we write it, right? Well, you don't have to write it like that. You could just give me both sides in the same triangle, CE and DE, and then across from them put their corresponding sides. That's fine. It's another way of writing a correct proportion. All right, so don't freak out. Why did they put the corresponding side underneath? I had a couple kids freak out first period. Settle down. You would never do that though, right? Period 8. That's why you're just dominating in the Survivor game. Zach, you got a good strategy to get to the finals?
Not really.
Because hey, people's strategy is going to have to change after the midterm if you're still in the game. Because you're all by yourself now. All right, because it's all one big group now. It's not period 1 versus period 8 anymore. I will. Actually, I do better than that. Maddie, here you go. Now that you brought that up, I'll bring it up right now. We got a little time. Here's what I do for the people who make it to the merge. Honors, geometry, survivor. Get the old school picture off of Aspen, and as you get eliminated, it goes from color to gray. All right, so that's what ends up happening. All right, so there you go. Good. Okay, so that's what I do if you make it to the merge. All right. Yes, Zach.
What type of records you got back? Well, I just noticed, like on your computer, you have records back from 2004, 2005,
Right.
2003.
That's when I started teaching. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, what is in there?
Same thing that's in the 2017-18. It's the classes I taught. They just had a different name back then. Like I've been teaching honors. This was honors geometry when I first started teaching. 10-1Y. That's what they called it. Yeah. Yep. 10-1Y, and then we did a little something different back then, different curriculum, but yeah, still did proofs. Yep.
Did you have the nifty board or no?
This board?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get this. This board I've had probably the last 5 years. Old school chalk back in the day. And let me tell you, you see how I teach, like I was just covered in chalk end of the day. Hands, clothes, all done. Yep.
I ate some of Mr. Chris's chalk.
I have eaten chalk before as well. Yes. Did you know that the colored one is flavored?
Is it really?
Maybe. Maybe the yellow one's lemon.
Yeah.
Blue, blueberry, I don't know. Cherry for the red. Yep. Yep. And let me tell you, I could erase a board like there was nobody's business. I just missed by 100th of a second making the Olympics in the board erasing competition. Like it would catch on fire sometimes. I was going so fast. All right. And then I moved to the whiteboard. When I moved up into this classroom, I moved to the whiteboard and then finally got one of these. And I don't know, I was a little devastated when I went to the whiteboard because I didn't have the chalk and, but
Doesn't have the same care.
yeah, but I did once I ran out of a marker. I had those baskets over there. Unbelievable. Behind, like I'd be right here behind the back. Done. In. Unbelievable. All right, I didn't make it every time, no, but yeah, Maddie, sure, go ahead. Like when I went from one board to the next. Yeah, that's what exactly it was like. I was all done with this board, and I was like, poof, right to this board, and it just started going. Yep. Yep. Or I went like clock, going right to that board. Yep. All the page turn effects. Yep. And then the kids are like, "Oh, it's Promethean, man. Let's guess what's coming next." And they'd always guess wrong because I made it up. So, yeah, that's what happened. All right. So a little history behind my teaching, Zach. Good. Okay. Everyone else, all right? Any other questions? I'll answer any. What do we got? Yep.
Did you scratch your nails on the chalkboard?
No, I wasn't that guy. No. I don't, because I hardly get to use this anymore because this has straight lines already built into it. But every time on the chalkboard or the whiteboard, and when I had to do it, I just go, boom, right there. And the kids knew I was doing every time. Like, I'm going to do it. I have this in my hand. I'm going to do it. And every time, kids just still get freaked out. Jeff, go. Was I on Fear Factor? No, I was. See, it's probably been about 11 years. I was down at Universal Studios in Florida, and they have a show every day, a Fear Factor show, and I was selected to go on it, yes. I won. Yes, I won this bad boy. I don't have the hat anymore because that just got grungy. Oh, there it is. I guess I do. That's how much I like it, huh? And then I won 4 free tickets back to Universal whenever I wanted to go back. Okay, real quickly here. And this is all getting, so whoever's absent is like, all right, let's get through this. All right, first competition, there was 5 of us. First competition, we were about 2 stories up. We had to walk out. So here we are, 2 stories up. The ground's behind us. We're bungeed up. We had to walk out onto a plank. And up above us was these yellow-looking bars that are like that. We had to grab on each hand onto each bar. And then all of a sudden, boom, it dropped. And we had to hold on as long as we could. Whoever was the first one to drop got eliminated. So some other person dropped, done. All right, I advanced to the second round. So now there's 4 of us in here. And we partnered up together. And what my job was I was bungeed. It's still up here, a picture of that. I was bungeed up into a harness like this. And I had, yep, good. There's me bungeed up. And I had a pail with me. And down on the ground was my partner, who in this big like water tank here, there was eels. They said they were electric, but they weren't. There was some squid or eels, I can't remember, in here. So he had to pick one off. They let me loose, so I'm swinging back and forth now. And he had to toss it up to me, and I had to catch it into the bucket. All right, and then the first one to get, I think, 2 or 3, first pair advanced to the finals. So we beat the other pair. So it was my partner versus I in the finals. And this is where it got really nuts. It was me versus him. It was exactly the same on both sides of the stages. Okay, there was a building. And you're not going to believe me, but this actually did happen. And then there's a pole here with, I don't know, these are keys, all right? Keys. So what I had to, first of all, they had like they made it rain inside. It was like indoor rain. So everything was real slippery. So on the go, we went up the ladder, crossed the top of the roof here on the building. And then there was a set of keys here. So we had to grab the set of keys, slide down the fireman's pole, come on over here. There was a car on both sides, a legit full-size car on both sides. I got in the car. I started the car. Once I started the car, they raised me up inside the theater. So now I'm, higher than the building right now inside this car. And then once they raised me the entire way, they gave me the go. And on the hood and on the trunk were 2 flags. And remember, it's raining like crazy, so everything's slippery, and I'm still bungeed up in case I fell, so don't worry. I know you were. So once I got the okay way up here, I had to get out onto the hood of the car, like hold on to the front where the windshield meets the hood, and just start like kicking or grabbing the flags off. And then I had to hop in here, do the same thing for the trunk, hold on to the trunk and the back windshield, kick them off. And then once I did that, and this is where it gets real nuts, I had all the flags off. there was a target over here, like a huge bullseye target. And underneath the back seat was a bazooka, not a real one, but like a fake bazooka that I had to get out and start shooting at the target. And then once I hit the target, everything blew up, and there was like fireworks and pyrotechnics in the theater. And I had beaten the other guy that I was originally partners with, and that's where I got all that stuff. So that's where all that ended up. No, they couldn't. You couldn't have any video in there. So I just have a couple pictures, and I have a couple pictures with me with the squid, and that's about it. All right. It was pretty fun. We were all geared up, and it was a good time. Right. It's fine. All right. All good? All right, but I got one more question that I got to get to this last.
How long ago was this?
Let's see. It'll be 11 years in July. And we've gone back there since, so to use the tickets and stuff. But right. I have applied to be on there. I actually got an interview to be on the actual Fear Factor on TV. My wife and I were going to go on as couples Fear Factor.
She as hardcore as you.
No, absolutely not. No chance. Like, I didn't even think she wanted to do it, but she was like, we're never going to get on. I'll just decide. And then we got an actual interview, and we talked with the producers. And then literally like a month after we talked with them, the show went off the air. So, all right. All good? Okay, I got to get through this last one right here. All right, here we go. I'm telling you guys, these are parallel. And I may not, just because of time's sake here, I'm not going to have you guys do the calculations here. I'll do them for you. All right, can I use side splitter here? Well, they are parallel, but it divides the two sides proportionally, not a side and these parts here. So I can't use side splitter. But you do know what about the small and the large triangle? They are? Okay, they share an angle. These are corresponding. They're what? They're similar. So you know the sides are still in the ratio. So you still know that 4 and x plus 3 correspond. And this is what I showed you guys yesterday. Be careful. What does FA correspond with in the large triangle? A or FC, right? And how do you find the length of FC? You take x minus 1 and 2 and do what with them? Add them up, simplify, and you end up with x plus 1. All right, again, I'm going to do this for you now because I want to save some time. 4x plus 4 equals x squared plus 2x minus 3 when you end up double distributing. So again, you guys know how many answers am I going to have at the end? 2. Move everything over to one side. 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 7. Looks good. Anybody know two numbers that multiply to 7 but add to negative 2? No. So guess what? I can't do here. I can't factor it. So how else would I solve it? Quadratic formula. All right, here you go. Again, I'll do the work for you. X equals negative or positive 2? Plus 2. Negative b plus or minus. I'm going to tell you, you get 32 after you store it in your calculator. All over, what's my denominator here? 2a, which would be 2. All right, keep going with me. What are you looking to do now? Simplify 32, and it does simplify. Bigger than 4. 16 times 2. So it'll be 2 plus or minus. What would it simplify to then? 4 radical 2 over 2. Stay with me because I won't even be done after this step. Remember what that 2 applies to, the top, the left and the right of the square root, right? So 2 over 2. 1 plus or minus 2 radical 2. Everyone all right there? It's not correct. Everyone have if you have a calculator, real quick. Remember, you get 2 answers, right? 1 plus 2 radical 2. In your calculators right now, what's 1 minus 2 radical 2? 1 minus 2 radical 2. What's it come out to be? A negative number, doesn't it? And if I plug that negative number, let's say right here, what type of side length am I going to have? A negative, so I can't have that. So even when you do quadratic formula, you got to watch out to reject. So what's my one and only one answer here? 1 plus 2 radical 2. Again, I reject that negative because it gives me a negative side length. Whew, there you go, everybody.